Hey guys, welcome back to another Dragonkind Evolved Dev Diary. We've got a couple cool new things to show you coming to the next update, including a new block, a couple new end crystals, and a new dragon type. So let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is a new block I'm adding called the Dragonheart Anchor. This is a placeable custom block that you can put down anywhere in the end, and you can sneak while near it to set your recovery point. Think of the Dragonheart Anchor kind of like a respawn anchor combined with a Totem of Undying. And I'll show you what that means. Let me go ahead and change to survival mode here. And I'm going to deal myself some damage here. Let's do 18. And you see I took pretty significant damage, not enough to kill me, but that teleported me back to my Dragonheart Anchor. So that's what I mean by it's kind of like a respawn anchor combined with a Totem of Undying. Whenever you are close to death, so 2 hearts or less, you'll be teleported back to your recovery point and healed. So that includes, of course, if you get damaged just from like fighting mobs and stuff. Importantly though, it also works if you jump in the void. So let's go ahead and jump down here. Teleports me back. And it also works in any dimension. So let's go ahead and jump in this lava here. Woo. And you see there, it took me back to my Dragonheart Anchor, gave me a little bit of fire resistance, but not enough to get rid of the fire totally. And you'll see that it turned into Crying Obsidian. So each Dragonheart Anchor can only be used 3 times, and then it will break and turn into this Crying Obsidian. So how do you get more of it? Well, of course, you do that by defeating Ender Dragons. This is what Dragonkind Evolved is all about. Since it's a placeable block, you're not going to have it in your inventory when you're fighting dragons. So even if you have all the other custom items, the Dragon Slayer sword and all that, you'll still be able to collect more of these if needed by fighting yet more dragons. The next new dragon type I'm adding to Dragonkind Evolved is the Beacon Dragon. This dragon type only appears at Ferocious difficulty and higher, Ferocious being the new difficulty that I'm adding after the last dragon. So after Immortal, you start fighting Ferocious dragons. Oh my goodness. Shooting at me, getting all those particles. As you can see, the Beacon Dragon is constantly shooting this laser from it, which is going to cycle between projecting either straight down, like it is right now, straight forwards kind of in front of it like it was doing a moment ago, and directly at the nearest player. Now of course I'm in creative mode, it's not doing a whole lot, but if we switch to survival mode very carefully, we'll see it's dealing a bit of damage. If I were wearing full armor, let's go ahead and put that on and heal a little bit. There we go. Oh yes. So we're definitely taking some damage, but it is pretty minimal for each individual hit, but then it's consistent. It's only going to do that. It's only going to target a player for a maximum of 3 seconds. So really it's more of a kind of like a small punishment. It's going to set you off balance, do a little bit of damage, and mostly just kind of distract you for a couple of seconds. But that damage can add up, especially if you're not trying to dodge the dragon's laser while it's just kind of normally projecting. It's going to do that pretty periodically as well, but importantly, if we get behind a pillar here. Okay, yeah. So, hasn't switched yet, we're hiding behind the obsidian pillar and it is blocking it. And the same works if you dig like into a hole or something, then you can hide from it. Of course, you're probably not going to have time to be able to do that. But especially while you're flying around with Elytra, it's still going to be able to target you in the air. So being able to fly behind an obsidian pillar to protect yourself from it is going to be one of the main ways to avoid this ability. Moving on to the new end crystals, we've got 2 of them to show off. This first one here looks a little funny with my shaders. If you don't have shaders or different shader settings, these particles that are kind of projecting up like a crown are going to be green, but with my shaders they look white. This is the launcher crystal. So this, as well as the other new crystal, only going to start showing up at Ferocious difficulty and higher. So this is kind of the next breaking point as things get more challenging and more difficult. The launcher crystal, and I can try and put on some Elytra and demonstrate. It's going to charge up every so often, and while it's charged, it's going to be glowing, so you can easily identify. It's got this kind of bow sound effect to indicate and let you know that it's charged and prepared. But if you are flying near it, there we go. So it is shooting Eye of Ender projectiles pretty frequently at me while I'm flying within its airspace. That airspace is about 40 blocks, so even over here, it's probably going to be able to see me if we fly over here. As we get nearby any of these towers, those end crystals are targeting me. I'm in creative right now, so they will shoot, but they're only going to start heat-seeking survival players. So those are heat-seeking Eye of Ender's projectiles. You saw that I was dodging them pretty well because I'm in creative. But if you're in survival, they're going to start targeting you, and they are not going to let go. So these are meant to really start to punish flying with Elytra early on without needing to force grab you. These are crystals you'll want to have to try to take out before you really start using Elytra pretty consistently, or at least flying within their area. You see, right now there's only two, and they're off, kind of on opposite sides. So they're kind of guarding these, three towers right here, at least from flying players. But you can get all these other crystals in the meantime until you're able to take them out, or in a safe place. This one, of course, has the force field as well, so you wouldn't be able to use an arrow on it. You'd have to use something, either get close somehow without flying, so you could pillar up, use water, or use the Draconic Scepter. And this one over here, it's also force field. So yeah, just adds some more difficulty, some more dynamics to these later fights, which I think will be really cool. The second crystal we have here, which I'm standing beside, is called a Portal Crystal. You'll see that it has particles pretty similar to the Dragonheart Anchor. Portal Crystal is interesting because there can only be one Portal Crystal present at any given time. So if you take one out, then you're kind of safe for a little while until some respawn. Portal Crystal, the reason for that is because it's actually pretty powerful, pretty annoying. If you're in survival, we'll even switch to survival here and see if we can get that triggered. As I am jumping around trying to avoid lasers and such. But let's see here. Oh, yep, there we go. Oh, switch back to creative. So you'll see it teleported me to this tower over here. But the portal crystal's way over there. So that's what the portal crystal does. It's going to periodically teleport up to 3 players to the top of a random tower. So that can really start to mess with your ability to target the crystals that you're aiming for. If you're flying, you are not exempt, so you could end up flying potentially into a launcher crystal's end space, so they pair very well together. You could end up being teleported too close to a fire crystal and take some damage due to the teleport. All kinds of things could go wrong, which makes it, again, a great, I think, addition of difficulty, but necessary to mitigate a little bit. So there can only be one portal crystal, and adds just an extra layer of strategy to these later, more difficult fights. Like I mentioned, both of these crystals, as well as the Beacon Dragon, will only start to appear at ferocious difficulty after defeating the last dragon, but you can start collecting Dragonheart Anchors right away by just defeating dragons normally. They'll be very useful when fighting these more difficult dragons, so you can jump back into the fight more quickly, but hopefully they'll also be useful for just kind of long-range teleportation, albeit with a little bit of a drawback, or just in general as an additional kind of respawn-ish point. And I hope that you guys find some interesting ways to use them. That's all I have for you today. I will talk to you later.